want to go ahead and build a stove cover. Also, it's dual purpose. It's kind of like a stove cover or a serving tray. Just built one the other night and went ahead and posted on the site, and I've got a lot of response. I've been wanting to build one for a while. Finally got around to doing it, and it's been pretty good because now I've got one. I'm going to try to get it out tomorrow. It's going to be stained espresso. It's 22. I'm going to make it 29 and a half. My stove's actually 29 and 3/4. So I'm going to make it 29 and a half. But 22 but 29 and a half, which 22 is the, down here, I've got two 1x6s, 6 foot long. And I'm going to make them 22 and a half. 22, I'm sorry. But yeah, let me go ahead and lay this thing out. I just want to let you know I'm going to go ahead and build one. I'm going to show you how I do it. Pretty simple, actually. Going to dress up the edges with a round over bit on a router. Like I said, I built one. It was pretty easy. And I've got one sold. And I've got 2 or 3 more people pretty interested. They're just going to go do some measuring over the Thanksgiving holiday. They're pretty busy. But I got one. It's already sold. The lady wants it tomorrow, and I'm going to try to get ready. Shouldn't have a problem. I'm going to get out here to saw and get these pieces cut, take you to Sawhorses, and we're going to put this thing together. We've already got a logo done. She wanted her last name and established a certain year of family, and I've got that printed. Did a design on the Cricut. Sent her a picture of the design. She approved it, and so I went ahead and got that out. So I've got to, that'll come later. Got to go ahead and get this board started. So get out here and get some boards cut. Well, as you can see, that didn't really take that long. I shot the brads from underneath, and they're hidden inside the wood. And since everything's glued up, a lot of glue under these 2 slats and between the boards. So I'm going to leave the clamps on for a little bit and give it about 20-30 minutes. I'm going to come back and flip it over, take the clamps off, flip it over, shoot more brads. I just did enough to hold for now because it's kind of awkward stapling from underneath. So I'll flip everything over, put a sufficient amount of brad nails in these slats from underside, and then I'll come back over, sand everything down really good. Then I'll get the router out and round over these edges. Okay, I got it flipped over, and I'm gonna go ahead. I decided just to leave the clamps on. They're not in the way until I get it back over. I'm just gonna leave those on for now. I'm just gonna go ahead, shoot a few more brads in here. make sure you don't go past that 1x4, because if you do, you're going to shoot clean through the stove cover. And I guess it's pretty obvious, but I do want to point that out because you definitely want to make sure you don't go too far over. So I got that 2 in each one. Pretty good. A lot of glue. It was clamped up. I mean, this is nothing structural or anything, but yeah, we're good. So yeah, go ahead and sand on this side for a little bit, real quick. Get that glue out of that seam right there. I'm gonna hit this with 80, to be honest with you. See, I just got a little 1/4 inch round over bit there. Yep. So I just want to show you a little before, you know, sharp edge, you know, and after, you know, give it a nice little round over, and of course some of that I'll just sand back off. All right, it's pretty good. So I'm also going to do that on the front here. Now the last one, what I did, which I did not do on this one, because I forgot, laid this board up here first before I secured it, made a little mark right here. Before I put the board down, then I rounded this edge first, brought the round over all the way to the edge and stopped at that mark. So now what I'm trying to say is when I do this front edge now, I can't get any closer than that. See, I can't get any closer than this. So I'll have to just round that over with sandpaper. Not the end of the world. I've done it before, can do it again. But yeah, pretty much all I gotta do now is sand this again, put the holes for the handles, and give her a good stain job. But I'll be back here shortly and finish this thing up. So I went ahead and laid out where my handle's gonna go here. Let me show you my handle, real simple. Handle like that. just basic math. You know, this is 22 this way, went to 11, and you know, I divided this width and I got the handle spacing. You know, made my dots. Now what I'm going to do now is take a pocket hole screw and go here to that dot and just do a little, like a little pilot hole, so that my drill bit don't walk all over the place when I drill those holes. Okay, as you can see, these screws are they're pretty small and don't need a great big bit. So I'm going to take this one right here and just a little bit. I mean, if you need to put a piece of tape, I'm going about a 1/4 inch in actually. That's just enough to get the screw started so that the wood doesn't split, and gives it a good start. There we go. As you can see, they line up perfectly. Okay, but of course I'm not putting it down now. I'm just getting the potholes done, because once I get the other side done, I'm going to go ahead and put some pre-stain conditioner on this thing, and then I'm going to do the first coat of stain. Probably only going to do 1 coat of stain. I did get lucky and managed to find some boards that, some pine that had, there's only 2 knots on this whole stove cover, so I'm pretty excited about that. Looks pretty good. Even on the slats, no knots there. I mean, there's a tiny one there, so this thing's going to look really great. Be very careful to not scratch it up now, because the finished side is on the sawhorses. Just going to turn it over and knock this dust off, and go ahead and get a coat of stain on the bottom here. Be careful when you get to the edges, because if you go crazy on the edges, it'll drip down on the... I'm not ready to stain that yet, so I'm going to have a little more control. When I get to the edges, I don't want it to be so thick that it goes pouring down the sides. Just take a rag and wipe up any of the excess so it dries a little more evenly, and places it's all pulled up, you don't want it to stay like that. It's best to just wipe it all one direction of the grain. So now if you went ahead and started staining this side, you'd really be messing up. Because what you want to do is get this stuff and put you a good coat on there, because it'll look a lot more uniform, a lot more even if you use this pre-stain conditioner. Actually, the stuff almost looks like gasoline. It kind of really just looks like you're putting on water, but it does a really good job. If you want your piece to look really, really good, and smooth, and even coverage, this is what you really want to do. Especially for soft woods, pine especially. I'm gonna go ahead and get this edge here before I start pulling the rest of the boards across. Now the other day I did an L-shaped desk, and I did not use pre-stain conditioner on purpose. It was kind of interesting because I went ahead and uploaded some of the pictures to one of the forums I'm on, woodworking forums, and a lot of people said, "What did you do? Did you burn it with a torch?" And it gave it a really cool rustic effect. It had blotchiness in there, which is, if you want to prevent that, you don't do it. Now, I did sand it down to 220, which is a lot smoother. Now, I believe that, especially this pine, when you go to the big box stores like Lowe's and Home Depot, I heard from a guy that actually worked at the lumber mills that says what they send them is a big mixture. It's pine, which white pine, yellow pine, spruce, hemlock, and fir. And some of the wood has got some really softer spots. Even if you sand it fine, it's just soft, really soft. And some of the parts that have the harder grain. So what happens when you stain that? Those softer spots are going to take on a darker color no matter what color you're using, and the harder grain is not going to soak up as much, therefore giving you some really blotchy, spotted, I guess if you want to say that, results. And so by sanding that desktop to 220 would get it a smooth, I mean I could go a little higher, but I just felt that was sufficient for what I was trying to do. I wanted more of a rustic kind of look, more, I mean, one guy even said it was kind of a weathered look. It's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and put a picture in right here. Okay, that's the top I'm referring to. It had a real splotchy kind of look to it, which, I mean, I was actually doing it on purpose. So, but now, use this stuff and you'll get real consistent, even results.